Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. A little bit of a longer miss of some time than I wanted to do, with the combination of both Thanksgiving break and the fact that I got sick, pretty sick right after the Thanksgiving break. I missed kind of a little bit of time there, but we're back. We're gonna get it popping. It's Take My Shot. NFL season's getting pretty intense here. It's time to start talking about playoff picture. NBA season is about a quarter of the way through. Things are getting spicy. Things are starting to mean a whole lot. Things are starting to matter a whole lot, and it's exciting. This is my favorite time of the year. Like I keep saying, this is when playoff football starts coming and games start to really matter, and we start to really find out what teams are made of. That's what I really like to. That's when I really love the NFL season. This is an overview overall though of yesterday. A lot of people are saying that balance is now restored as the Chiefs are now back into their winning ways. The Patriots are now the 1 seed in the AFC. It's looking like tonight's matchup. If you don't know, tonight's matchup is between the Patriots and the Bills right now. And the Bills, who thought they were just going to run through this division for the next couple of years, or they're not going to do that. The New England Patriots are dominating right now. They are now the 1 seed in the AFC, and are on like a 5 or 6 game winning streak right now. It's pretty crazy if you really think about it. What the Patriots have been able to kind of just turn around and do here. A lot of people are giving Mac Jones a lot of credit, and they're calling him the by and far, like the best quarterback in that draft class and stuff like that. I don't know about all that nonsense. I think if any of the rookie quarterbacks would have been put in the situation that Mac Jones was put in, they would all be doing the same exact thing. I will say that... Sorry, my voice is still a little bit raspy. I have to take some little water breaks here for a couple seconds. Sorry, boys. All right. As I was saying, I think if any of the rookie quarterbacks were still in the position that Mac Jones is in, they'd all be succeeding just as successfully, I believe. When you got a coach in an organization like Bill Belichick and the organization that the Patriots is, they're always going to find out a way to win, right? You have to almost take last year, not even with a grain of salt, right? Tom Brady leaves. Almost half the team opts out with COVID. It's almost even a miracle last year. Cam Newton almost got that team to the playoffs. And that team didn't have half the team, right, because of COVID. And then just a weird situation last year with Cam. It's almost quite incredible that Cam Newton almost got that team to the playoffs a year ago. So you can't even take it into account last year because of how many people didn't play for the Patriots a year ago. And then in the offseason this year, the Patriots spent all that money on like Matthew Judon, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. They went and made all those offseason moves. It's just it all made sense, right? And then then you entitle that in fact with Mac Jones. I don't think I'm not saying that Mac Jones isn't a talented quarterback, because he definitely is. Okay, he's definitely one of the better Bama quarterbacks you've probably seen, if not in a while, probably ever. Honestly, coming out of Alabama, because normally it's not a quarterback coming out of Alabama. It's linebackers, corners, wide receivers, running backs, even. Yeah, I can't even think honestly of a time where we have had a successful Alabama quarterback, like having real success in the NFL, right? I can't think of any, honestly, but when you think of other positions in Alabama, it's kind of wild when you think about that. Other positions in Alabama, like, I can think of, great linebackers like C.J. Mosley, Patrick Queen, Patrick Surtain, Marlon Humphrey, and then, like I said, running backs, Nick Chubb, not Todd Gurley, my bad. Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, wide receivers, Julio Jones, Devontae Smith, like at Jalen Waddle. That's kind of crazy. They've just had gigantic talent at every position that's made pretty good success in the NFL. Um, just hasn't kind of had the same kind of success with quarterbacks in the NFL. Okay, guys. I might have to. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. My voice is already kind of given up on me a little bit, and we're only about 5 minutes in. So if we have to, we can just, I guess, play some music a little bit here if we need to. But I'll try to do what I can here. Other thoughts here from the beginning of the week. The Detroit Lions finally got that win here. Of course, they would win. They would get their first game, their first win in a year exactly. As of yesterday, it was a year exactly. 365 days since the Detroit Lions had won a football game. And they won it on a walk-off. They played the Minnesota Vikings, played a tough game all throughout. Like I said, the Lions were the best 0-11 team in NFL history. They were just the amount of games that they had lost by a field goal or a single score. Normally, if a team is 0-11, you're getting blown out. You're a really bad team. They're not. They really weren't. And they finally win that game yesterday on a walk-off. They were at like the 14 or 15 yard line with like 4 seconds left, and the Minnesota Vikings did everything right. They dropped 8 and they just rushed with 3, and they put all their guys in the end zone because obviously they had to get to the end zone to win it. And then Jared Goff just throws a seam down the side, or I guess it wasn't even really a seam. He just throws it on the left side of the end zone to Amon-Ra St. Brown, the rookie, and he just caught it right at the goal line and just fell in. I don't know. I honestly don't know what Minnesota was doing there at the end of possession. I was like, you're just gonna let him sling it like that and win it? Like, it was, but good for the Lions. Really good for the Lions. Dan Campbell finally gets his first win. It had been a tough couple of weeks for Dan Campbell. It's tough to lose, especially when you're the Detroit Lions and everyone always kind of expects new things and a really good turnaround when you're either a new quarterback for Jared Goff's sake or a new coach like Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell wants it. He wants it really bad for that team, and you could tell he really wants it bad for this team. He just cares so much, and it's been a while since I think someone like has came and really cared about coaching there. It's just tough. It's tough being a fan of the Detroit Lions in general, and then with the way that they were losing their games this year, it was just really intense. Great moment for them. You seen at the end of the game, Jared Goff and Dan Campbell had a good moment after the game, and it had to make the cherry on top the fact that it was in Detroit too. So the Detroit Lions fans that are loyal and they've just been waiting for so long, and that went to that game yesterday got to see that moment. Pretty incredible stuff from them. Chargers and the Bengals, I thought was gonna probably be the game of the day yesterday. I thought yesterday, I posted on my social media that I think the Chargers and the Bengals are two teams that are almost literally in the same exact situation. I thought are incredibly similar, right? You had both teams with their franchise quarterbacks in their second years, both teams trying to build around their franchise quarterbacks, right? And both teams kind of finding success this year with their young teams, their young quarterbacks. And I think, the Chargers just got the best of them. Like I said a week ago, it's kind of interesting just the fact that nobody wants to take a stranglehold in the NFC, or excuse me, in the AFC. Every time I think I'm going to get a great matchup in the AFC, somebody just dominates, the other team. Like, I would not even be entirely surprised if Buffalo destroys New England tonight. Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen, right? I hope this is a really good game, but I would not be shocked if Buffalo just hands it to Patriots tonight. that's just kind of the way that the AFC's been going so far this year. Washington football team is on a little bit of a win streak now. They're putting themselves right back into the swing of things as far as the NFC goes. It's kind of crazy too because last year they were out of it, completely out of it, and then right around the mid-December time, mid-season towards the December time, they won a couple straight games and they ended up winning the division last year. Now I don't know if they'll have the ability to win their division this year. They're now 6-6, and I believe they're one spot out. They're either one spot out or they're in right now in the wild card. And they do okay. So they play Dallas next week. Oh wow. Okay, so Washington's gonna end the year. Cowboys, Eagles, Giants. Wow. So gigantic next month and a week. 5 weeks for the for the Washington football team. They can mess around and win those games against Dallas, and they'll be division champs once again. That's wow. They definitely had themselves back in the swing of things. I didn't realize that's how their schedule was going to finish out for them. Rams get back on track. It was an ugly first half, which is just tough. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, the Rams, like, what is going on right now? They ended up winning by 30. They win their sorry guys. They win that game 37-7. Gronk and Tom Brady got things going yesterday. Tom Brady, it was pretty funny yesterday, was like 16 for 19 in the first quarter, was on pace for right around 80 passes on that game. Pretty crazy game for Tom Brady. Big statement game. They really needed that win over Atlanta. It just gives them that much more cushion over there in the NFC South. So, good stuff from them. Colts rout the Texans. Jonathan Taylor's officially my MVP favorite now to this point. Tom Brady had a great game yesterday, but I still think if the Colts make a really hard playoff push here, I don't see why Jonathan Taylor shouldn't be league MVP. Kyler Murray, actually, he also came back yesterday. They were able to get the 33-22 win over the Bears. I wouldn't say Kyler played horrible. Okay, he didn't play horrible, but I don't think he played spectacular. Andy Dalton threw 4 picks yesterday, so that's always a little bit of a help when the opposing team turns it over that many times. I will admit, Kyler he ran around a lot more than I thought he was going to yesterday. As he should, though, honestly. He was out for just about a month, almost a month. I think with their bye week, he was actually out a month. So, the fact, like, right before he got injured, he wasn't running around really all that much. Wasn't really being the mobile quarterback he needed to be to add that extra dimension to their offense. And yesterday, finally ran around a little bit. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. He definitely opened my eye just a little bit, but I think you can't miss that much time and still win league MVP. I don't care if the Cardinals would go 17-0. You can't do that. Tough one from the Ravens. I just don't. It's just tough. The Ravens. It was gonna catch up with them eventually. You can't just be that stagnant on offense and really not and win games. The Ravens dominate time of possession in their games, but they just can't finish their games. They got to start the games a lot better. The only game I can recall this year where the Ravens started out with the lead and really just held on to and started out with the lead and started the game good was the Raiders game week 1. We got up 14-0 in that game, and I don't even think we've scored in the first quarter since that game. Scored our first quarter touchdown since that game. So, tough loss. We really needed that win. I think the Ravens are done for. Like I said, obviously I'm a Ravens fan, but I like to be unbiased when I talk about things seriously. The Ravens, I think you have to give them credit for what they've been able to do with what they have to this point. It's pretty incredible that 30% of their roster is injured, and they're still looking at 8-3 and the number 3 seed in the AFC right now. But it gets worse. Yesterday, John Harbaugh came into the presser after the post-game presser, and he said that Marlon Humphrey's probably going to be done for some time. I heard when I was listening to the post-game presser yesterday, overheard some stuff saying that overheard some people talking about Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews was supposed to come to the presser yesterday, and someone came in and said that Mark Andrews was dealing with some stuff, that Mark was dealing with some stuff. So it looks like Mark Andrews is banged up. It's just, if we lose Mark Andrews and we lose Marlon Humphrey, golly, man, it's over. It's really over for the Ravens. Only so much you can do, Lamar's not playing great right now. It's just tough situation in Baltimore. Again, you have to think with all that's going on, and they're still 8-3. It's kind of incredible. You got to give the props to the organization and to the players. As long as Lamar Jackson, I guess, is back there, anything's possible. Missed a couple of bad passes yesterday, Lamar. He had a bad pick on Mika Fitzpatrick early in the game. He just kind of threw it off his back foot, and not a good play at all. Props to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were able to hem in and contain Lamar a little bit better than Cleveland was able to a week ago. It wasn't a horrible game from Lamar. He wasn't able to get anything going really downfield to anybody, and it was kind of, I don't know, it's just Rashad Bateman didn't even have a target or a catch yesterday, which was interesting because they've been really looking to get him involved in the offense, and they just really didn't. Sorry, guys. Tough. The defense played fantastic for about 3.5 quarters, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers offense scored 3 straight times. They hemmed in Najee Harris pretty well. Weren't able to hold down Deontay Johnson. They held him without a catch in the first half, and then he had 8 catches for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half. So, tried to keep the Pittsburgh offense, or for the lack of their offense, contained, but they weren't really able to towards the end of the game. It feels like every game for the Ravens, they miss. I could think back to the last couple of weeks, and the Ravens have allowed one big pass play at least in every single game this year on just like a miscommunication in the secondary. Yesterday, they had the late touchdown to Deontay Johnson, not the one that won it, not the game winner, but the touchdown before that. Deontay Johnson, they were down towards the red zone, and Deontay Johnson was just standing all alone on the left side of the field on a miscommunication in the Ravens secondary. There was a big play to Jarvis Landry last week for the Browns. The week before that, they hit Darnell Mooney on a deep route for the Bears. They hit Marquise Goodwin on a deep route that almost lost them that game. The giant play from the Dolphins game to Albert Wilson down the sideline on that Thursday night game. Just every single week I can recall one time where just Justin Jefferson, the week we played Minnesota, there's been at least one big play that the secondary has given up that's really costed the Ravens. It's been tough. My voice is starting to die down on me here a little bit. We'll jump in on John Harbaugh's presser yesterday. This is what he had to say. I guess I didn't mention that the Ravens ended up scoring late, so that made the score 19-20. And instead of tying the game with a field goal to send the game to overtime, John Harbaugh decided that it would probably be best if they would just go for 2 and go for the win. Here's his thought process on that after the loss yesterday. give it just a second here. I didn't want to play the ad. But yeah, so the Ravens tried to go for 2 for the win instead of the field goal for the tie, which wasn't the worst decision in the world when you look back at it. It was a great play call. Mark Andrews got wide open. The only problem I had with it, so you can envision with me here, I'll try to play through it, or I'll try to explain it here. They're down at the 2, obviously, for the 2-point conversion. They run a little run fake with Devontae Freeman, a little run fake that nobody falls for, so a useless run fake. And then they do it towards T.J. Watt's side, and they kind of have Mark Andrews slip across the formation. He's wide open because Minkah Fitzpatrick was guarding him on the far side, but when he slipped through on the fake, Minkah Fitzpatrick got caught up in all that traffic. They go to throw just a little leak route, and Lamar just barely overthrows it, and it was just disrupted by T.J. Watt really, because, and Lamar said after the game, T.J. Watt is just long, he's big, and it disrupted the pass really, because if they don't run that to T.J. Watt's side, I know Lamar has to throw across his body to get that pass over there, but I feel like it would have been a little bit more successful. I think them running it towards T.J. Watt's side, who was already disrupting Lamar all night, was just not the best decision. But here's what John Harbaugh had to say about the call.
Respect for them and what they do. So they won, and they deserve it. A couple injury notes. Pat McCarry has a hand issue, could be a few weeks, and Marlon Humphrey has an issue. We'll get an MRI, but it could be a while for Marlon. So we'll see. All right, what questions do you have?
Obviously, when you get down, you're down by 1. What went into the decision making to go for 2 instead of just
try to win the game right there? We were pretty much out of corners, at that point in time. So it was an opportunity to try to win the game right there.
John, the defense played so well for 3 quarters, and then Pittsburgh scores in their final 3 possessions.
Yeah.
What changed? I mean, did they get tired? Pittsburgh changed up what they were doing?
No, they hit zero coverage a couple of times. So you go to the well too many times, and they get you. That's what happened.
So John, when you said you reason you went because you were out of corners, Marlon was not coming back at that point.
Correct.
Is that exactly what you wanted from that play, John? Just not executing? Andrew?
Oh, you saw the play. I mean, it's that close. It's game inches. You saw the Al Pacino speech on any given Sunday, right? There you go. That's football. That's just that close.
John, we've asked you before about Lamar standing in the pocket and take the good with the bad sometimes that he holds the ball. Are you concerned that he's holding the ball too long? I mean, it seemed like several of those sacks.
Yeah. I mean, we can put him in better position too in terms of getting the ball out quick with some of the calls. But 7 sacks is too many. It's way too many. So that's on us, the coaching staff, to get that cleaned up.
T.J. Watt got activated pretty late in the process yesterday. Were you able to game plan for him throughout the week, or how did that process kind of work?
Yeah, we game plan throughout the week. They don't change their defense too much, with the other guys in there, so it's just a matter of who's going to play. But great player, and we probably expect him to find a way to get back.
Lamar, was that more of a product of like what you guys were doing, or their pass rush, like the pass rush?
Well, I mean, they weren't the ball. It was the ball was being held, trying to push the ball downfield a little bit at times, and we gave him enough time to get to him for sure. And there's plenty of times where he ran out of there too and made some huge plays, extending plays. So it does go. We talk about that in our press conferences quite a bit. So that's kind of Lamar's a unique guy that way. But 7 sacks to me.
John, was Marlon big?
I'm not going to get into all that right now.
Did you get what you wanted on that 3-point play? I mean, mine's special, but like, did you get the looks and you get pretty much everything?
Yeah, he was open. So we did, yeah.
All right.
Okay, great, thanks.
John Harbaugh's thoughts there after the game and the 2-point conversion and all. When you really hear about why John did it and stuff, it makes sense. When Marlon Humphrey went down, I mean, you heard him. I mean, the Ravens were out of corners. They were just out of guys to cover Pittsburgh's wide receivers, and he just felt that instead of trying to survive with trying to plug in some guys in the secondary to try to defend Pittsburgh's pass game. He decided to just try to go for the win, and call it good. But with that being said, guys, my voice is really struggling with me.